Khans of Tarkir is finally coming to MTG Arena. Super important set for Explorer, kind of bridging the gap to Pioneer. Has some awesome stuff for Historic as well, I'm sure, and some really sweet cards. It is just Khans of Tarkir the set rather than the entire block. Hopefully we'll get the missing card later on. There's some awesome stuff there, but Khans does bring some really important cards to the format. This is mostly meant to be a top 10 list-ish, and there's an obvious number one, and that is Treasure Cruise. The card that makes Phoenix work. It also gets played in a bunch of other decks in Pioneer. If you're playing blue, if you're going to put a number of cards in your graveyard, you want to play Treasure Cruise. It's banned in a bunch of other older formats. Treasure Cruise, going to be amazing, and really ignite the Phoenix deck, which is maybe the best deck in Pioneer now with the recent bans. Phoenix, really good. We've also seen some new versions of it as well. You'll also find actually that the first few cards on my top 10 list all have the same delve keyword. Cost reduction mechanics are good. Not that we've had any examples of that recently, spells, right? And then we have the Partner in Crime, Dig Through Time. To be honest, these generally see play in different decks. There are some decks that play like 4 of one or the other. We see that every now and again. We see like a Phoenix deck playing like one of Dig Through Time, but generally, Dig Through Time sees play in more actual combo decks where you're digging for specific combo pieces, or control decks, either blue-black or blue-white, where you're digging for like a specific answer. Really good card. Up until recently, we're seeing more play overall in the format than Treasure Cruise. Things like the Lotus Steel combo deck, which obviously in Explorer, at least on Arena, is still missing things like Hidden Strings, which we'll hopefully get by the end of next year with Pioneer Masters. And then, oh look, another Delve card. This one, a little bit more specific, I guess, and that is Hooting Mandrills. This is a really awesome card to get on Arena because Hooting Mandrills is one of the two kind of Delve cards you the Neoform Atraxa combo deck, alongside Tassiger, which unfortunately is in Fate Reforged and therefore not coming to Arena, at least yet. With Hooting Mandrills, I think you have enough tools to make the deck work. So hey, it's a new deck coming into the format pretty much. Let's get it on the list. Hooting Mandrills at number 3. Alright. Well, more Delve cards? Don't ask for more Delve cards. See, not all cost reduction mechanics, but almost similar, because actually it sees play in the Atraxa Neoform combo deck as well as Hooting Mandrills. There are a few decks in the format, hey, like 4 power creatures, pretty important. Things like Ensoul Artifact, or even the new version of that effect. Stubborn Denial, 1 mana, can't target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. But if you control the creature with power 4 or greater, counter that spell instead, and it becomes a 1 mana negate. Really excellent if you can read the requirements, but really powerful tool, and one that's been missing from Arena. Another Delve spell, Murderous Cut, is a really cool card. Again, not necessarily the most powerful or splashy effect, but 4 and a black, Delve, exile a card from your graveyard, reduce its cost by 1, and then destroy a target creature. This is particularly interesting because we have the recent printing of Up the Beanstalk. In fact, Murderous Cut was seeing a lot of play in Modern with Up the Beanstalk up until the point last week where it was banned. But we do get to still Murderous Cut Beanstalk stuff in Pioneer, and so I'm pretty excited to get to play with it. We might see some Sultai Beanstalk stuff. There's various full color Omnath-like variants that will be floating around as well. But Murderous Cut, a great card there. Not quite as powerful as in Modern. Again, these Delve skills get a little bit worse without the fetch lands. Got Fable Passage, there's ways to enable it. Like, it's going to be good. Let's move along. Hey look, another Delve spell. This one has a special place in my heart, so I'm a little biased, maybe moving up a little bit up the list, just to get all these Delve cards together. Become Immense, 6 mana, target creature gets +6/+6, and again has Delve. So if you've got 5 cast decks from your graveyard, green, just 1 single mana, target creature gets +6/+6 on a turn. I've played a ton of different Infect decks over the years, but really powerful pump spell that doesn't necessarily have a great home right now. Like back in Standard, it got played alongside a card from Fate Reforged called Team of Battle Range, which I believe is on Arena. It is on Arena. I can't tell you off the top of my head what from, but it is on Arena already. You can do that kind of thing. It's still playing like a Tarkir, like a red-green aggro deck at that point. But by itself, like there are decks like Stompy, like Mono Green Stompy. There are some other things. We might see some Mono Green aggro now that like Khan's gone. We have to, the Mono Green deck has to turn around and go some other directions. Hey, keep an eye on Become Immense. It's always kind of sitting there as this is a powerful thing to do in the format. Pretty great. Jeskai Ascendancy. This is like a little bittersweet because there are cards to make a Jeskai Ascendancy deck work on Arena. You can work with Emery and like 2 copies of Mox Amber and kind of go off with that, but it's quite difficult. The actual Pioneer combo deck uses a card called Retraction Helix, which is originally from Born of the Gods, but which we also do not have yet on Arena. Again, hopefully soon. And there's some really awesome things you can do with that. So Jeskai Guidance Tendency, blue, red, white. Whenever you cast it on creature spell, creatures you control untapping it, plus almost 1 turn a turn. Untap those creatures. Whenever you cast it on creature spell, you may draw a card, discard a card. Lets you kind of like loot through your deck while untapping and tapping creatures, which is really, really good if you have a way to make mana. If you have a mana creature and you can keep using it to like cast cantrips and that kind of thing, you just get to keep untapping it while pumping your team. And with the Retraction Helix, which basically gives a creature tap, return, target non-mana permanent into his hand, and any kind of like 0 mana artifact, you can just play a 0 mana non-creature artifact forever, loot through your deck, buff all your creatures, and do your thing. Gets played alongside Rona in like Rona combo. Rona combo also uses the Retraction Helix, like Mox Amber type stuff. But yeah, really, really cool deck. There'll be a decent version of it, I think, on Arena, but not complete, at least until we get Retraction Helix. So, again, a little bit of sweet. I played a bunch of Jeskai Sensi combo when it was legal in Standard. That was a bit of a crazy time. This one is another sweet one, and that is See the Unwritten. I wanted to like tag this on here. Mono Green has to go like a different direction now. They don't have Khan. Obviously, they're still going to do Nykthos things, but there's a few other ways they could go. See the Unwritten is a pretty powerful 6 mana spell. Have Storm the Festival. You're like, why would you got Storm the Festival? Why would you want to go any deeper? Storm the Festival, let's see the top 6. See the Unwritten. 4 green sorcery. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. Now, you put a creature card from among the ones on the battlefield, put the rest into your graveyard. Ferocious, if you control a creature powerful or greater, you may put 2 creature cards onto the battlefield instead of 1. And notably, the cards go into your graveyard, which gives you a ton more potential for degenerate stuff using the cards out of your graveyard. See the Unwritten, really, really powerful card. Where you're getting like Atraxa, or we've actually just gotten better threats printed since See the Unwritten last relevant, I think. And then a couple of sweet ones to end things off with. I Love Humans. Mantis Rider is a great card. 3 toughness. It's like the perfect mix of like not too oppressive. Sometimes it does feel oppressive. Like 3 mana, 3/3 flying vigilance haste. Pretty sounds pretty good. And the Human Shell, like really, really strong. Especially with like 4 color. We just got Cavern of Souls on Arena and in Pioneer and Explorer as well. Really, really cool. And so Mantis Rider seems really, really sweet. And then you might have noticed there's a lot of Dredge videos on the channel. I like Dredge a lot in a bunch of formats. Bloodsuck Champion isn't a card that I always play, but is a card that like different builds of the deck could be interesting. Black for a 2/1. Bloodsuck Champion can't block, but raid. So if you've attacked this turn, you can pay 1 in the black to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. That triggers your Prized Amalgam, etc., etc. You can be a bit more aggressive here, as it's like a 1 mana 2/1 like aggressive creature by itself. So you can build a more aggressive version of Dredge using Bloodsuck Champion. And then I want to end on a sweet sideboard card that is Deflecting Palm. Red and a white. Instant. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. But if damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to that source's controller. Traditionally, this has been played out of things like Mono Red or like Boros Burn in Modern. As a way to be like, alright, you're attacking me with a huge creature, I'm going to redirect all that damage to you. And you can do a similar thing in Pioneer and Explorer. That's why I think it's a pretty solid sideboard card. There's not that many decks that are like all in on one creature attacking you. That's not necessarily the way you die in Pioneer and Explorer. But we could go in that direction, and also with Boros Burn, actually we just had Lightning Helix announced coming in January, so hey. Interesting. That's the last card on my list. I'm actually not sure how many cards that was, but I think it's really sweet. There's almost certainly some awesome cards, like Anaphans of the Foremost. Like, there's a bunch of cards that I'm sure I've missed out or kind of skipped over. So let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think. I'm really, really excited to get to play with the cards. I joked about having like a Phoenix week where I just play a different Phoenix deck on the channel each day, and that could happen. Let me know if you want to see that. But it's going to be an awesome time for that deck, and it might take over the format a little bit. We just got out of Appraiser. There's still like a Marlia combo, which is pretty buzz. There's a few different things, but Explorer going a little bit closer to Pioneer, even though we don't have Smuggler's Copter. Soon TM. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do please like, subscribe, share it around, and thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a great day.